Hey everybody, the King is back. James here again with you, and in this video I think you're going to find it very interesting because I'm going to test and explore if cold temps in the winter time affect shooting a break barrel with my Gammo Swarm Whisper and 22 caliber. So as always, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe below if you haven't already. I truly appreciate it. Let's get into the video, guys. So this is a somewhat follow-up on one of the recent videos I did using a PCP to see if it affects the accuracy downrange. And as you know, you've seen that the POI shifted, but the groups didn't matter with the PCP rifle in short of that video. Well, in this video, I want to try something different just to get the variant of the temperature out of the way. Instead of taking the gun outside and then shooting from room temperature, I left it outside for about an hour to get everything to the temperature of outside before shooting. So that way we could cross the temperature off the list and then see what really happens with a break barrel. And this is a gas ram piston gun, as you see. So I want to share my findings with you again in this video as to what happens when shooting something like this out in the cold temps. You know, if you went out hunting, for instance, and the gun got to that temperature out in the field, what would happen? Would your shot be spot on? Who knows? But hopefully we're going to find out in this video. So again, to start off, I left the Gammo Swarm Whisper outside for about an hour to reach the temperature of outside, which was below freezing. Then I took some shots through the chronograph to measure what happens if there is a significant change in the FPS from above the freezing point to below the freezing point. And it blew me away that this rifle gained almost 30 feet per second more with the rifle outside than going from room temperature to outside or from a warmer temperature outside, period. That is crazy. 682 feet per second on average, which I was getting about 655 feet per second and warmer temperatures outside when I first got this rifle. And as you know, the 15.89 grain in a video that I did on STKO right out of the box, this rifle is unbelievably accurate out to 155 yards. So with that said, with as cold as it was, I went ahead and shot at 35 yards to see if there was a significant change in the accuracy or precision. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you the 6 shots that I took on target at 35 yards and below freezing temperature of 32 degrees to see if anything changes. So let's check it out. Okay, so that video clip that you just saw of me shooting at 35 yards, you can see there, that is not good at all. About a 2-inch group compared to what it was getting at 50 yards, it was insane on how accurate and precise it was at 50 yards when I got it above the freezing temperatures. So here, I did it again, not on camera, but just to verify that that's what I was getting all over the place. Again, the accuracy got affected because accuracy and precision got affected because of the temperature being below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So now let's figure out the problem. What happened? So I'm going to share some things with you of what happens. So in this style of air gun, we all know that you have the piston chamber here. This is a set volume of air that piston pushes to the pellet, and then the pellet goes out the barrel. Well, think of it, guys, as a tire. So in the winter time, your air pressure is lower in your tires on your car versus in warmer temperature when the pressure can increase. So why did that happen? Well, I took a reading of a pellet, I shot it and captured it, shooting at 655 feet per second, again around room temperature or at above temperatures outside other than freezing. And the pellet deformed and swaged into this barrel to match the barrel. Well, when I tried the pellet again from leaving the gun outside for about an hour to get everything the same temperature to knock out the temperature variance, I shot another pellet and captured it, and the pellet did not swage or squish or compress as much as the pellet at a higher temperature. What does that mean? That means a lot of things. That means that the temperature changed and the pressure dropped in the air cylinder here, the actual compression tube, I should say. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean? How's that happen? How's that possible? Well, again, going back to the reference of cold temperature with tires on your automotive vehicle, the colder temperature, the air takes up less space, so the piston was faster and not squishing the pellet as much, causing the accuracy and precision to be off. Whereas in warmer temperatures, the air fills up the tube more. In short, that's how it works. So, since the pellets did not get smashed or swaged to the bore like they do in above temperatures, what do you do to get it to shoot again back on par like it was? Well, the thing is, the velocity. If you noticed, the 15.89 grain, again, 682 feet per second on average in that temperature, and it didn't get compressed or swatched to the bore. And then the pellet before that, again, at room temperature, was shooting at 655 feet per second. So what do you do with the temperature of the gun outside that's been out there at the same temperature? Well, something has to change. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean? How are you going to change that? How are you going to make it shoot better? You have to shoot a heavier pellet to match that velocity of 655 feet per second if it was shooting that good before. And you're probably thinking, well, James, how do you know that? Well, let me show you here. I switched over to the 1813 grain and chronographed them, guys. So you're probably thinking, well, James, how do you know you need to go to a heavier pellet like an 18 grain pellet? Well, again, if there is not enough air in here, the piston is going to be faster than it is with a lot of air in there. You see what I'm saying? The timing between the piston and the pellet is what causes the accuracy and precision downrange. So if your piston is going super fast in that temperature because there's hardly no air in there, for instance, and hitting that pellet and that pellet's going out, the gun's just doing this. Well, if the pellet and the piston are timed just right, you have to slow one or the other one down. And to do that, the easiest way to do it is go to a heavier pellet, again, like I use the 18 grain JSB, which would slow that piston down, and it wouldn't be such a bad vibration, and the shots would be more just a straight line recoil. And I have evidence to show this. Even in a snowstorm, if you don't live in Indiana, you get to see all 4 seasons in one day, whether it's rain or shine, warm or cold, snow, whatever. I want to show you guys what I got with this air rifle at 35 yards again, the STKO Swarm Whisper, using the JSB 1813 grain. So keep watching because it's going to be interesting. Well guys, here is that target of 6 shots. I'll take that any day, even with a pull in there that I did. But in a snowstorm, I'll take that any day compared to what I was getting with the 15.89s, JSB 1813 15.89s. Again, you know, having the gun set out like that, knocking out the temperature variance, the piston increased its speed, you have to slow it back down by using a heavier pellet. As you can see, huge difference. The groups got cut down over half, obviously. That is crazy. And you can see they're all clustering right there, even in a snowstorm with ice and snow and flurries on my scope and everything. I'll take that any day of the week. So in this video, I hope, guys, that I could show you what happens in the wintertime using break barrel air rifles that's below the freezing point of temperature outside. And if you leave the gun outside like I did and tested that, you know, or you're in the field hunting and you notice it, because again, the pressure drops in a PCP, the pressure would drop in a break barrel also. But what happens when that pressure drops in a break barrel? The piston speed increases. Obviously, as it showed through my chronograph, that the pellet that I was using above the freezing temperature was 682 feet per second and below freezing temps. So again, to slow that piston down, you have to change something. And the short answer is to increase the pellet weight like I did and get that pellet velocity almost as close as possible as what it was shooting, you know, at warmer temperatures. So again, I hope you got something from this video. I hope I explained it the best way as I possibly can. You know, if you're having trouble trying to shoot your guns in the wintertime, the best thing I could do is wait till it's warmer temperature outside. That way you can see the results and hopefully get the results that you want. And as always, make sure to hit that like button, guys, and subscribe below if you haven't already. I truly appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one.